Luke chapter 19. Yeshua entered Jericho and was passing through. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was a prominent tax extractor, and he was rich. He wanted to see who Yeshua was, but he couldn't due to the crowd, because Zacchaeus was a very short man. So he ran ahead of Yeshua and climbed a wild fig tree in order to see him, because he was coming that way. When Yeshua came to the tree, he looked up at him and said, "Zacchaeus, come down quickly, because we must visit your house today." So he hurried down and enthusiastically welcomed him. When the people saw it, they began complaining. "He has gone in to be the guest of a man who is a notorious sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and told Yeshua, "Look, Master, I'll give half my wealth to the poor, and anyone who I have cheated, and anyway, I'll repay 4 times as much." Yeshua told him, "Today eternal life has come into this house, because he is also a son of Abraham. The human son came to search for and rescue those who were lost." While they were listening to what he said, he went on to give an analogy because he was near Jerusalem, and they were assuming that the kingdom of Jehovah was going to appear immediately. He said, a nobleman was traveling to a distant country to be appointed king and then return. He called 10 of his servants and gave them 10 minim, gold coins, and told them, "Do business transactions until I return." But his citizens hated him, and they sent envoys to him to tell him, "We refuse to have this man as our king." After he was appointed king, he returned, and he sent for the servants who he had entrusted with his money, so that he could find out what each of them had gained by doing business. The first came and said, "Master, your manai has increased to 10 minim." He told him, "Well done, good servant, because you have been faithful over a little, you will have control over 10 minim. The second came and said, "Master, your manai has increased to 5 minim." Similarly, he told him, "You have now control of 5 minim." The next came and said, "Look, master, here is your manai. I've kept it safely wrapped in a cloth. I was afraid of you because you are a stern man who appropriates things by decrees, and you harvest where you haven't sown." He replied, "I judge you by your own words, you evil servant. You knew that I am a stern man, and that I collect when I haven't invested, and harvest where I haven't sown. So why didn't you put my money into the broker's hands, so that when I returned, I could have gotten it back with interest?" He told those standing nearby, "Take the manai from him and give it to the man who has 10 minim." They replied, "Master, he already has 10 minim." He told them, "I tell you that everyone who has something will be given more. But as for the person who has nothing, even what he has custody of will be taken away. But as for my enemies, who didn't want me to be their king, bring them here and kill them in front of me." After Yeshua said these things, he continued on his way up to Jerusalem. When he arrived in Bethphage and Bethany, near the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples on ahead and told them, "Go to the village ahead of us, and as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there that no one has ever ridden yet. Untie him and bring him here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you untying him?' tell him, 'Our master needs him.'" So those who were sent ahead went, and they found it just as he had told them. When they untied the colt, its owner asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They replied, "Because the master needs it." They brought him to Yeshua, and after tossing their garments on the colt, they helped Yeshua onto him. As he went, they spread their coats on the road. As he approached the descent to the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began to celebrate and praise Jehovah with loud cheers because of all the miracles they had seen. They shouted, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of Jehovah! Peace in heaven and praise in the highest heaven." Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to him,
"Rabbi, reprimand your disciples."
He replied, "I assure you that if they were to remain quiet, the stones would shout." As he came closer to the city and saw it, he cried over it and said, "If you only knew, at least during this special time, the advantages for your national security that are possible, but now they are hidden from your sight. The time will come when your enemies will completely surround you and set up a barricade around you on every side. They'll level your city as well as you and your children. They won't leave you with one stone on another because you failed to recognize your opportunity in this my public arrival." When he started to enter the temple, he began to throw out merchants and their patrons. He told them, "It is written in the scriptures, 'My house is a house of prayer, but you have turned it into a den of thieves.'" Every day he taught in the temple, while the high priest and the Torah teachers and the elders of the people were planning how to destroy him. But they couldn't find a way of doing it to him because all the people were hanging on every word he said.